Today I'm going to talk about Microsoft latest web UI technology, Blazor, working with Azure SQL Database in cloud. So Blazor is on-prem, Azure SQL Database in cloud. This is a hybrid solution. On-prem SQL Server challenge. When you have a project which is on tender and not confirmed normally, so how do you want to do a POC, proof of concept, with your customer? You are not going to buy an expensive server, put it inside your building and start installing SQL Server. That you cannot be sure that whether there is the ROI, right, return on investment. You are not sure about that because you don't know whether you are going to get your project. Okay. The second point, you need to design, right, to show people, right, that your business continuity. What happens if your server down, right? And how do you continue from there? This you need to design your own. You don't want to put 2 server and 3 server at one go before even you have a project confirmed. The third point will be, it's not so easy to scale, right? You are not so easy to scale vertical and horizontal. Let's say you have a on-premise SQL Server. You feel that they are slow. What will you do? You are going to buy hardware, RAM, or hard disk to install inside here. And that will cost you downtime. And you need to back up. And you need to restore at least. Same thing when you do it horizontally, when you go and add a server into your own server pool, that also incurred a lot of configuration. In a lot of people's mind, they think you can actually plug and play. I would say that will become plug and play, no? Right? So you have to pray to God that it will work. Okay, so another thing is that you need the network connectivity. At least you need to set up TCP/IP, right? Not just plug in the network cable or put a Wi-Fi wireless, access point. Everything will work by itself. And do you need to have a firewall? Okay, so come to the last one is nowadays a lot of ransomware, right? Ask for Bitcoin, right? Ask for those Bitcoin, those Bitcoin. So you need to know how to protect your on-premise SQL Server. So all those are the challenges that you are going to face if you want to put a SQL Server on-prem. That also means you need to have a strong team to handle that. You have seen the on-prem SQL Server challenges. Now, let us come to the Azure SQL Database. How should you use this to mitigate the risk of the on-prem server? Okay, the first point is you don't have to buy a server to set up, and you don't have to care about Windows update. You also don't have to install the SQL Server software. And if you have a managed instance in the Azure SQL, you don't really have to worry about backup, and restore all the time. Okay, so that comes to another point when business continuity, right? Microsoft guarantees 99.99 availability, right? Guaranteed. So at least you have that. You don't have to, right? You do not have to worry about keeping your own on-premise server to be alive for 99.99% of the time. And also Azure SQL, you can actually scale. You can actually add RAM, right? Add hard disk, right? And go to just in the field matter of clicking. Another point is that you don't need to worry about network so much. You can let your client to do a POC in any part of the world, right? In any part of the world, they will be able to access to your SQL Server, right? And you don't really need to worry about the firewall, whether you say it right or say it wrong. So those are the benefits that obviously will override your on-prem database setup. Okay, this is how your Azure SQL database is going to look like in your browser. After this, I'm going to do a demo. The demo will create a database using the same resource and also use the tool that you are familiar with, SQL Server Management Studio, to access to that database. Let's go for the demo. All right. I will first connect to my SQL agent. I haven't typed my password. Okay, I'll connect to my Azure SQL Database. Okay, in this demo, I will create another database under this resource. Okay, I go to my Azure portal. I will just say add. In here, I will say Azure SQL. Right? I will click Azure SQL. I will create. Right, I want this one to have a single database. Okay, I will choose my existing resources, right? And I will call the database name DPS CMM. Okay, do I want the elastic pool? I choose no. Then I will choose the database size because that will contribute to your cost, how expensive. For the demo, I choose the cheapest one, the basic. Right, you can see that I only maximum is only 2 gig, right? So that is enough for me to do my demo. And in fact, that is enough for many small systems as well. So I will say apply. Okay. All right. So no, I'm not going to. I will just choose the local redundant because it's a must view. Okay. I just go to a network and see whether I have anything that I need. I will say no need. I don't need to add the IP for now. Go down here and is there anything that I need? I guess security is the last one I want to look at. No, I just say no as well. Okay, so I don't have any additional setting. So I just review and create this, right? And I will just say create. Okay, so you can see that, right? So Azure now is provisioning my the new database that I'm actually creating. Okay, and it will take a while, right? So let us come back to this in a short while. Okay, your deployment is completed. So I can go to resource. Okay, under my resource here, I will have this database, right? So you can see my connection, the database name, server name, they are the same as my existing database. So I will go back to the SSMS. I will refresh here. So you can see that I have actually created a database here. Okay, without any table. Alright. So what I will do is that I will then create a table for my application to connect. Right, so I will actually open this. Right, the table structure of this is exactly the same as I'm actually using the one that in the Northwind, right? If you don't know what is Northwind, then no worry. Okay, so I'll just say execute. Okay, so now I have created a table that for my application in the Azure SQL database. Okay, now comes to JavaScript Challenges after our demo of Azure SQL Database. The first challenge is JavaScript lack of debugging facility. For example, if you want to put a breakpoint, especially jQuery, it is not so simple for you to put a breakpoint. It is not like C++ or C# or Java. So the tool is not so easy to handling those breakpoints that you step through JavaScript. When it comes to the framework, AngularJS, Angular, React, Backbone, they are different. So AngularJS is using JavaScript. Angular is not. It is using TypeScript. Both of them are from Google. React is from Facebook. Backbone is a pretty old one. So again, the next point, Angular is actually using TypeScript. And you cannot actually interchange your knowledge between all these frameworks easily because they are not the same. Nowadays, Google also pushing for WebAssembly, right? So not everything Google actually doing it using Angular or JavaScript. Blazor. Blazor is usually using C# for both UI front end and back end. So you can interact between the web UI front end and the back end using C#. And C# has two types of application actually. One type is WebAssembly, right? Blazor WebAssembly. Another type is actually Blazor Server App. Blazor also built on an open web standards, not Microsoft proprietary. If you are a guy still need JavaScript, then you can actually interrupt JavaScript with Blazor. You have a free tools to create Blazor, such as Visual Studio Code that actually can run in Linux as well as Mac OS. And the last point is that you have a very good UI component ecosystem, like those all-day Webform and MVC. They are companies creating UI components for the Blazor or for the technology you call it. We will following this, we will actually do a demo. So in the demo, I will explain what is the service, how to create one service, and what is the Blazor UI, and how to call from Blazor UI to the services, and how they actually connect to Azure SQL Database. Let's take a look of the demo. Okay, we have the database created. We have the database table created. Then we have the records. Now, I will go to the Azure SQL and I get the connection strings from here. I will go and copy and put it inside my Blazor projects. Okay, so how do I actually create this Blazor project? It's basically file, new projects. This is actually the Blazor server projects, right? So in here, you can actually type Blazor so you will see the Blazor app, right? That's how I get into here. So this is the Visual Studio 2022. So I will have the .NET 6 framework. You will see once you created the Blazor server app, you will have the structure like this one, the folder structure, and the connection string just now. The connection string just now operate in the class. Okay, then I also created something called product service, which is here, and I will just extract the file records from the Azure SQL database, right? And okay, so a little bit of Blazor. When you add the class here, you need to actually put it inside the startup file, right? You need to actually inject it here. Okay, the last one is the Blazor UI page, right? It's just a simple page, right? So yeah, as you can see, it is pretty straightforward, right? I just put two views in the table. I have a for each loop through the 5 records that I'm going to retrieve, and C# code to call the service and put the record into the table, right? So as I mentioned, it's going to be C# front end, C# back end. So when you run this project, right, it will actually take a while. All right, you are going to build it as usual. Okay, so the browser will launch, and you will see the Blazor, the default look. I didn't change, I just add the Blazor component into the default look and feel. It will take slightly longer for the first time because this is the first time I load it. after I start up this machine, right? Subsequently, if you load this page, it is going to be faster, right? Faster. Okay, so this is where the product is where I retrieve the record from the Azure database here. So how do I actually prove that I'm actually accessing the Azure database, right? So let me just do an update here, right, to the Azure SQL database. I just click execute, right? So if you right now run this again, you will see I should have a 20 here, right? This guy. So if I go to the page here, if I refresh this page, you actually see a 20, right? So if I actually change it back to edit, you will then see an edit. So okay, this demo showing you that it's not so tough to just to have something to UI to start to connect to your Azure SQL database. Of course, you can put another layer known as web API and so, but the code is just so simple, then you can already get the data back from the Azure SQL database to your UI, right? Blazor UI. All right. So this is what I have demoed. I summarize it in a very brief diagram. You can actually get the sample code using the link here. Okay, that leads us to the end of the session. Hope you enjoy it. You learned something. And thank you. And see you again soon. Bye bye.